In the words of Napoleon Hill, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve.
My name is Amal Al-Hassan. I'm graduating with a master's degree in biological science. I would like to thank my husband, family, and friends for their love and support while I pursued my goal of becoming a graduate of Purdue University Northwest.
My name is Keely Verhar. I am graduating with a Bachelor's of Science in Human Resources Management with a minor in Information Systems Management. I plan to pursue my MBA at Purdue University Northwest this fall. I would like to thank my grandparents for financially and emotionally supporting me while I pursued my degree. I would not be where I am today without them. Congratulations to Purdue University Northwest's graduating class of 2021.
Hi everyone, my name is Nicole Reichert. I'm graduating with a Bachelor of Science degree in Psychology. I would like to thank my family, friends, and all the professors I've had along the way for their love and support while I pursued my goal of becoming a graduate of Purdue University Northwest. Congratulations, class of 2021.
My name is Haley Bronk. I'm graduating with a Bachelor's of Science in Nursing from Purdue University Northwest. I would like to thank my family, Mom, Dad, Vanessa, and Nate, grandparents, uncles and aunts, extended family, Nathan, Nick, Shelly, Todd, and Richie, and the dedicated PNW staff for their love and support while I pursued my dream of becoming a registered nurse. I plan on working at Franciscan Health in Michigan City on a medical, surgical, and orthopedic unit.
My name is Marcelina Espinoza. I am graduating with a bachelor's degree in social work. I would like to thank my main supporters, which are my mother, Father from heaven, my sisters, my brother, my husband David, my two wonderful boys, David Jr. and Sebastian. Also, I cannot leave out my amazing professors and counselors for not giving up on me on this long journey. With their love and support, while I persuade my goal of becoming a 2021 graduate of Purdue University Northwest.
Hi everyone, my name is Cameron Fleets. I am graduating with a bachelor's degree in communications with a minor in history. I would like to thank my family, friends, professors, and classmates for their love and support while I pursue my goal of becoming a graduate of Purdue University Northwest.
Hi, my name is Krista Bishop. I am an English writing major with the aspirations of becoming a writer. I would like to thank the staff here at Purdue University Northwest. I would like to thank my parents, Stacy and Doris Bishop, my sister Amber, and the rest of my family and friends for all the support and encouragement that they have given me. I want to thank the Marine Corps for the scholarships they gave me. I want to thank my fellow students and wish them my best. Last but not least, by no means, I want to thank God for all that He has done for me and provided me with.
Hey, my name is Viviana Plaza, and I'm graduating this year with a degree in political science and 2 minors in Spanish and public policy. I would like to thank my parents, grandparents, siblings, uncles, aunts, friends, my nephew, my boyfriend, his family, and the PNW staff and faculty for their continued support and guidance throughout my undergrad career. I'm truly grateful for you all, and I'm so excited for what's to come.
My name is Libby Houston. I am graduating with my bachelor's degree in finance. I'd like to give a special shout out to my mom and dad for being my #1 supporters these last 4 years. I would also like to say thank you to my other friends, family members, and teammates for all of your constant love and support while I've pursued my goal of becoming a college graduate here at Purdue University Northwest. Without all of you guys, this wouldn't have been possible. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Naya Moore. I am graduating from Purdue University Northwest with a bachelor's degree in human resources and business and a minor in sociology. I would like to take the time to thank my family and friends for the constant effort and support through this time, as well as my professors who have shown me many great new skills and knowledge to take with me to future careers.
My name is Bradley Knight, and I am graduating with a degree in broadcasting and a degree in advertising. I just want to thank my family for always loving and supporting me through these past 4 years. To the friends that I've made along the way, you guys are going to be amazing. I love you guys dearly, and thank you for being friends of the goofball like me. And lastly, I want to thank my God for giving me this opportunity to go to school and just pursue my passion.
My name is Jessica Cassandra Lavelle. I'm graduating with my BS in Hospitality and Tourism Management. I would like to take the time to thank my family, my fiance, and my professors for their love and support while I pursued my goal of becoming a graduate of Purdue University Northwest. Thank you all so much. I could not be where I am today if not for you.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Abdullah Yusuf Abdelghani Burini. I am graduating bachelor's degree in computer engineering. I want to start by say thanks God, Alhamdulillah, for everything. Also, I want to thank my parents, the one they left their country to come over here and support me. I want to thank my beautiful wife behind me all this time. Also, I want to say thank for my children who understand why I am away for 4 years. And also, I want to thank my professor for all the help I got. Thank you, everybody.
My name is Amber South, and today I will be graduating with my bachelor's degree in accounting. And I'd just like to say a special thank you to everyone who has helped push me along the way and really helped me be the best I can be throughout this journey into getting my degree. And then a special thank you to my parents who have allowed me to have this experience at PNW by supporting me in all ways possible. And I'd also like to thank my friends and my fiance who have really pushed me to be my best and helped me to just power through this season and get through and get my degree. So thank you to everyone, and I wish you all the best.
Hi, my name is Anna Cochran. I am graduating with a bachelor's degree in sociology. I would like to thank my mom, dad, brother, and the rest of the family, along with my friends and professors for their support during my journey throughout college. I couldn't ask for a better support group.
My name is Ariel Lara. I am graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Nursing. I would like to take this time to thank my amazing parents who push me every day to do my best, my wonderful sister who motivated me when I was down, and my incredible friends, Amanda, Tyler, Joe, Marcy, and Curtis, who kept me sane through the years. I would not be here today without the constant push from these individuals. Thank you to everyone else who helped along this journey. Congratulations, class of 2021. We did it.
My name is Blair Hochstetler, and I'm graduating with a bachelor's in history and
Gentlemen, meet you at the end. Okay. All right.
Yeah, and Prince Lord.
That's good. Are they? I have no idea. What are we doing for time, Chuck?
9:45. Gary Owen.
So down to the end and stop, correct?
Gary Owen.
No DC. Repeat, no DC. Repeat. Okay. So repeat, no DC.
Who's got the pickup?
I have.
Okay.
Up on.
I have.
Not too quick. The son of the cavalry loved it.
We're about 2 minutes away from the actual public purpose. 2 minutes, you said?
Yeah,
9:50 is when they usually try to come in to give them 10 minutes to march in. So like at 10 o'clock they can start the program exactly at 10.
Okay.
That gives us about
Then
time to
let's-
do the first of the three pieces.
Let's do the voluntary.
Voluntary.
And then get ready for pomp and sound.
They give in marching time. So that by the time everybody's in 10 o'clock, bam, they're
Got
ready
it.
to go.
Got it.
There it is. Voluntary pomp and style.
Voluntary and jump right on pomp.
Okay.
And good luck.
I'm going to get pomp up.
That's a good
Got
idea.
them back to back.
Okay, I'm done.
What's that? Okay. Let's go. Just assume that the first time I do something, we're going back in line.
Gotcha.
But this is what
You start this one or do I start this one?
You start.
Okay.
You do start together.
Well, 1, 2. Yep, yep, yep. That one's getting cold. Go.
You're supposed to let me know. Come in here.
Okay.
So, does the Colonial Pipeline use the same software?
I hope not. Well, we can computer systems and humans. You can fool a human into giving up protocols, credentials, whatever.
So if I give you this one, you'll know what to do?
Go to 4.
Yes. I don't know why, but
4 needs to
Okay,
go back.
if that's okay, if I go back to 4.
yes. Or we go ahead to 4.
Okay.
That could be interesting. Just direct modulate. Yeah.
And you're in C. Like it or not.
That's our span of bandwidth. That's a goal. I thought that was
Essentially, when I see people coming on the stage, I'm going to try to get us into the ending somehow, because that's the last thing that's going to take place.
Unless there's the program.
It's graduates, then faculty, then dais.
There's the faculty, and then there's that program or committee. Is that the one that goes last?
Graduates, faculty, and dais party, usually.
I think this one is faculty. Anyway.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
All breathe together.
Welcome to Purdue University Northwest. Will those who are able please stand for the singing of our national anthem?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Chancellor Kean. Guests. Chancellor Kean, the convocation of Purdue University Northwest 8th commencement is assembled. Please be seated.
Good morning. It's my pleasure to welcome you to this commencement exercise, the culmination of Purdue Northwest student success, and indeed one of the proudest days in the lives of our graduates and their families. For those of you who are sitting in family pods and have been fully vaccinated, if you feel comfortable, please feel free to remove your masks during the ceremony. For today's commencement, some of you have traveled across town, others from across the world, as well as many, many locations between. Today is a day of celebration and recognition, a day of applauding achievement, a day of proud reflection, and perhaps even shedding a tear of joy or two. And of course, this is the day you receive your cherished diplomas. Candidates, I applaud you on your hard work, sacrifice, and determination. Parents, grandparents, other family members and friends, I also applaud you on your hard work, determination, and sacrifice. Graduation is not a celebration exclusive to those receiving their diplomas. Before we continue this celebration, I invite our graduate candidates to offer their heartfelt, thankful applaud for the support they received from parents, families, and friends and others who helped in various ways. You may notice some of our graduates are wearing gold stalls with emblems of the 5 armed service branches, signifying that they are veterans of the U.S. Armed Forces. We would be honored if all servicemen and women who are present, stand so that we can recognize you and express our sincere gratitude. My lone instruction of the day is to ask that all in attendance be respectful as we read the names of each graduate, so that each of you will be able to hear the name of your graduate. Thank you very much. Several individuals whose leadership is vital to Purdue Northwest are seated on the platform or in the front row. Inasmuch as they will not be introduced later, I want to take this opportunity to introduce them to you. As I do, I will ask them to stand and remain standing. I also invite you to recognize them with your applause after all have been introduced. The Chair of our Faculty Senate and Grand Marshal, Dr. Libby Pelter. Vice Chancellor for Administration and Finance, Mr. Stephen Turner. Vice Chancellor for Enrollment Management and Student Affairs, Ms. Yolanda Mosley. Vice Chancellor for Institutional Advancement and Chief of Staff, Dr. Lisa Goodnight. And presenting our candidates is Dr. Colin Fewer, the Dean of Students. Please be seated. Outstanding, dedicated faculty serve the students of Purdue University Northwest. Through teaching, research, and engagement, our faculty enrich learning and further student success. For that, I invite the members of our hardworking faculty to stand and be recognized with your applause. It's my great pleasure today to introduce Stuart McMillan as our guest speaker this morning. Stuart is a leader in Northwest Indiana community and a philanthropist, as well as a proud alumnus of Purdue Northwest. He is Chairman Emeritus of Task Force Tips, Inc., an innovative company based in Valparaiso that designs and manufactures life-saving firefighting equipment. Stuart has been involved with the fire industry since childhood. By age 14, he became involved with the Gary Fire Task Force, where his father, Clyde McMillan, served as chief. Stuart graduated from PNW in 1977 with the first interdisciplinary degree in engineering issued at the Hammond campus. Like many of you, he earned his degree while working full-time, joining his father and his brother in the family business, Task Force Tips. Under his leadership, the company grew from $1 million in annual sales to $60 million in annual sales with 260 employees and distributions worldwide. Stuart established the McMillan Family Foundation to fund the training opportunities for first responders in Northwest Indiana. Out of the effort involved in multi-agency academic cooperation. Nicknamed MAAC, or MAC, to honor Stuart's father. Under the leadership of the MAC Board of Directors, the training has grown to serve hundreds of police, fire, and EMS first responders on a daily basis. Stuart is also a great supporter of PNW and our students. He and his wife, Catherine, made it possible to establish the PNW Design Studio, where ideas flow in our School of Engineering. In making the gift, Stuart stated that he wanted to impact the lives of today's PNW students while expanding entrepreneurial opportunities for the region. We are very grateful for his support to PNW and to the Northwest Indiana community. Stuart and Catherine have 2 children, Kelly and Ian, and 1 grandson, appropriately named Mac. It's a pleasure for me to bring to you Stuart McMillan.
If I can ad-lib a little bit, sitting here I feel like I've been to Launch 39 in Kennedy Space Center where they send launches into space. What this university does is launch great careers, and for you today is the first day of that great career. It was 1977 where I sit, where you sit now. I am very proud of being allowed to share this special day with you. Thank you, Chancellor Kien, for this opportunity and this honor. I have a good sense of what you've gone through to be here today. I commuted that Borman back and forth every day, sometimes more than once a day, from Hobart to Hammond when it was just 2 lanes. I juggled working full-time with class scheduling. Some people think that commuting to college is the easy way. After all, you're in your own bed every night, right? Well, yes, you are. And along with it, you're embroiled in work and all the family dynamics, as well as having to accomplish your classwork. It's the hard way to get the education, but you have done it. And today, you are all champions. Today is a day to pause and reflect on just how far you've come and what you've accomplished. A day to thank all that helped you to achieve this goal. A day to put down your backpack and rest so that I can take the opportunity to stuff just a couple of suggestions into that backpack as you continue your life's journey. When I started here, my first introduction to a computer was a monster in the basement of the Geit building. We shoved cardboard cards through pigeonholes in a wall. It ate them and gave them back as green bar paper. It did not even have a screen, folks. Think about it. No screen, no interaction with the machine, no instant feedback. And the best output of the day was a dot matrix printout that typically said, syntax error. Somebody remembers up here. It was a terrible way to interact with a computer. So terrible that as I stood in line, just like you did today, I bet the person standing next to me $100 that I would never touch a computer the rest of my life. It was okay to do something so stupid. I had not yet gotten my diploma declaring me to be educated. I paid the bet 25 years later, but I didn't give interest. Who could dream then of a time when the monster in the basement would be reduced to the palm of our hand? Be a camera, a music player, a recorder, a research tool, and a host of other things, all run by a battery and stuffed in our pocket. In 1977, a calculator that could do a square root function was $180. And that was dollars that were twice the size of today's dollars. The technology that we hold in our hand today was totally unimaginable in 1977. The rate of change is exponential, and what we will have in 50 years is many, many times more unimaginable than the miracles of today. Yes, we live in interesting times, and it will only get more interesting and more exciting. You are all blessed to be starting your career now. School is very different than the real world. You are given inputs to a problem, you solve that problem, and then you look in the back of the book to see if the answer's right. Everyday life is quite different. You're given lots of inputs, many of which you don't even need. And then you have to figure out how to solve the problem. And then you wait, because there's no back of the book to look up the answer. It requires some additional skills in the backpack to navigate successfully and without regrets. I would like to share with you today some of the things that I learned along the way that have allowed me to have a career without regrets. Excuse me a moment. It all starts with integrity in absolutely everything you do. It's not like sneaking a donut, knowing that tomorrow no one will know. You will know that you took the donut. I certainly snuck enough that I know. Live your career such that you never, ever feel the need to cross the street to avoid a difficult discussion. Find mentors. Find them before you need them. Not friends that will tell you what you want to hear, but mentors who will tell you what you need to hear. People that can teach you things you need to know as your career progresses. A great way to learn about what you need in a mentor is to offer to be one to someone else. Sometimes it does not require expertise, but simply being willing to care and listen and give candid feedback. I have had many, many mentors over my career, and I stand here today positively sure that without them, I would not have been successful. Be willing to be wrong. Leaders are not expected to have all the answers, but they are expected to have the integrity to admit when they do not, and the integrity to admit when they are wrong. The people you lead will follow you on your journey only if they have trust in you. Trust that when you know the answer, you will act, and trust that when you do not know the answer, you will ask for help, their help. Being vulnerable and being able to say, I don't know, is the ultimate demonstration of leadership. You cannot be a leader without at the same time being vulnerable. And talk to everyone. I learned from my mother that spontaneously talking with strangers opens doors that can be amazing. My mother would get into an elevator and by the 4th floor know their life history and have dinner plans for later. When you are alone in a hotel breakfast nook and you see someone also alone, ask if you can join them. Don't let the fact that they have their phone out and look totally engaged deter you. If you ask politely, may I join you, they can just as easily politely say no. That will happen. But 9 times out of 10, they will invite you to join them. And the things that I have learned and the things that come from such engagements are magical. Our phones are great tools, but they have become human shields. Any strength overused becomes a weakness. Phones do not make things happen, people do. So engage them. If you find it hard to make the first step, let me help you by giving you a phrase that I have found is the universal key to the human lock. Simply say, what are you excited about today? I have used it over and over, and it does more than break the ice, it melts it. And finally, I will give you what I think is one of the most important things I ever learned. It came from the CEO of a company that I greatly admire. I implore you to develop some variation of this habit. Each night, when you retire for the day, take a minute, think back through the interactions that you had. Identify the ones that you could have been better at, been more considerate, maybe more patient, maybe more understanding. Make a note of that person's name and record it in your favorite app. And the next day, as soon as practical, call that person, or better yet, find that person and sincerely apologize for your behavior. Tell them that you are sorry and that you want to be better, but most importantly, ask them to help you in that endeavor. You will be excuse me, amazed and pleased by the reactions that you will get, the feedback you will get, and most importantly, it will guide you to the kind of humility that true leaders find their power in. I have been a pilot for over 30 years. It is one of the most amazing freedoms that we as Americans have, and it's a tradition amongst flight instructors to hand over the newly printed license to that newly licensed pilot with this statement: "This is your license to learn." Today, Purdue is granting you your license to learn. Leverage it wisely and with integrity as you play the game of life. I hope it serves you well. Revel in this moment. Share it with the people that have helped you, inspired you, encouraged you, and supported you. Together with them, you've earned this. And when you pick up that backpack, be careful. It'll be a little heavier now. It has thoughts about living every day with integrity, finding mentors, being wrong, being humble, and how to talk with anyone. Congratulations to all of you, the class of 2021. I'm very proud to be here today.
Well, I don't know about the rest of you, but what's exciting me today is that I do have a heavier backpack to bring home. So thank you very much, Stu. For the introduction of academic degrees, I now invite Dr. Sipes, representing the Purdue Northwest faculty, to the podium.
Good morning. The conferral of academic degrees is a critical responsibility, the accomplishment of which signifies that degree recipients have successfully completed a sufficiently rigorous and enlightening curriculum of courses that provides appropriate preparation to assume roles of contribution, responsibility, and leadership that advance our society. The faculty of Purdue University Northwest has evaluated the academic accomplishments of the candidates presented here today and concluded that, pending the completion of any final outstanding requirements, each of these candidates meets the criteria for receiving a Purdue University degree. Based on that conclusion, the faculty recommends to the trustees of Purdue University that appropriate degrees be conferred. We have assembled here to celebrate that conferral. Thank you.
Dr. Rebecca Stankowski, Associate Vice Chancellor for Institutional Effectiveness and representing Graduate Studies, will present the candidate for the doctoral degree.
Will the candidate for the doctoral degree please stand? This student has successfully fulfilled the requirements for the Doctor in Nursing Practice degree. She will be hooded recognizing her academic discipline and symbolizing the completion of that doctoral degree. With the approval of the faculty, she is now presented to receive her degree.
We are honored that Trustee DeKruiger, on behalf of the trustees of Purdue University, is here today to confer the doctoral degree.
Observing the respected custom of institutions of higher learning
and exercising the authority of the trustees of Purdue University, legally vested by the people of the state of Indiana, and upon the recommendation of the faculty, I now confer upon you who has fulfilled the requirements of the doctoral degree with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereto. I solemnly also place on you those obligations which you must henceforth assume as a holder of the doctoral degree. As evidence of your ability to fulfill the requirements and obligation of this degree, you will now receive your diploma.
Will Candidate Marshal Ms. Jessica Schultz please escort the candidate for the doctoral degree forward to be hooded by her faculty chair and receive her diploma? Constance Adams.
Congratulations to our doctoral degree candidate.
Dr. Rebecca Stankowski will present the candidates for the master's degree.
Will the candidates for the master's degree please stand? These students have successfully fulfilled the requirements for the master's degree. Each wears a hood, recognizing his or her academic discipline and symbolizing the completion of that advanced degree. With the approval of the faculty, they are now presented to receive their degrees.
Trustee DeKruiger, please join me at the podium.
You never get tired of conferring these degrees, so I am considering a great privilege to be with you today. Observing the respected custom of institutions of higher learning and exercising the authority of the trustees of Purdue University legally vested by the people of the state of Indiana, and upon the recommendation of the faculty, I now confer upon you who have fulfilled the requirements of the master's degree with all rights and privileges and responsibilities appertaining thereto. I also solemnly place on you those obligations which you must henceforth assume as the holders of the master's degree. As evidence of your ability to fulfill the requirements and obligations of this degree, you will now receive your diploma.
Will Candidate Marshal Ms. Jessica Schultz please escort the candidates for master's degrees forward to receive their diplomas? As the candidates make their way to the stage, please note they'll be crossing in a random order. Alexis Carrizales. Kelly Knickerbocker. Terry Nunnally. Carolyn Sprague. Megan Slevnik. Eileen Long. Stephen Stepnowski. Madina Karamova. Kayla Greenwell. Stephanie Civic. Caitlin Barajas. Shannon Dempsey. Bailey Loritzen. Sarah Deacon. Stephen Aguilera. Natalie Melcher. Gina Corrali. Arminda Anginano. Courtney Withrow. Kimberly Andrews. Jessica Valles. Lucy Ashmore. Sydney Vandertine. Samantha Peachy. Jessica McGuire. Sarah Searles. Brianne Knopf. Molly McCann.
Congratulations, master's degree graduates.
Dr. Chris Holford, Provost and Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs, will now recognize distinguished undergraduate students.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my joy and privilege to provide special recognition to those individuals receiving baccalaureate degrees who have demonstrated outstanding scholarly achievement. The commencement booklet contains a statement on the basis upon which the status of distinction and highest distinction is determined. Candidates wearing black and gold cords symbolize this achievement. I invite the degree candidates who are graduating with highest distinction to please stand and remain standing. I also invite the candidates who are graduating with distinction to stand and remain standing. On behalf of the trustees of Purdue University and the faculty of Purdue University Northwest, I congratulate you on your outstanding academic records. May you continue to be motivated by excellence and high standards in your quest to make positive contributions throughout your life. I invite the distinguished candidates to be seated. I now introduce Dean of the Honors College, Dr. Jonathan Schwartz, who will recognize the candidates of the Honors College.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to recognize the candidates from the Honors College. I invite the Honors College candidates to please stand and remain standing. These students have fulfilled the graduation requirements of the Honors College, including completion of the academic curriculum and related coursework, substantive research in their areas of discipline, service engagement with the local community, and leadership experience across a range of diverse areas. These students have received and are wearing the Honors College medallions on gold and black ribbons. Please join me in congratulating them. I invite the Honors College candidates to be seated.
At this time, I am pleased to facilitate recognition of those individuals who have qualified to receive the Purdue University Northwest Chancellor's Medallion. The Chancellor's Medallion is presented to the graduating students who have achieved the highest grade point average within each of the academic colleges of Purdue University Northwest. We would like to present each of these graduates to you at this time. I now invite Kayla Vasilko of the College of Humanities, Education, and Social Sciences to please come to the stage with Christine Vasilko. I also invite the Vasilko family members to stand and share in this recognition. I invite the honoree and guests to be seated. I now invite Amy Nieves of the College of Humanities, Education, and Social Sciences to please come to the stage with Francis Alea. I also invite the Nieves family members to stand and share in this recognition. Congratulations. I invite the honoree and guests to be seated. I now invite Danielle Biancardi of the College of Nursing to please come to the stage with Joe Biancardi. I also invite the Biancardi family members to stand and share in this recognition. I now invite Katrina Martinez of the College of Nursing to please come to the stage with Donna Elston. I also invite the Martinez family members to stand and share in this recognition. Ladies and gentlemen, I now introduce Dean Lisa Hopp to present the candidates for baccalaureate degrees in the College of Nursing.
I am pleased and very proud to present the candidates for the baccalaureate degree in the College of Nursing. I invite the candidates to stand and remain standing.
Ladies and gentlemen, I now introduce Dean Elaine Carey to present the candidates for baccalaureate degrees in the College of Humanities, Education, and Social Sciences.
Thank you, Provost Colford. I am pleased and proud to present the candidates for baccalaureate degrees in the College of Humanities, Education, and Social Sciences. I invite the candidates to stand, remain standing, and make some noise. You're graduating.
Chancellor Keon, these students have successfully fulfilled the requirements of the undergraduate curricula in their respective college. Having gained approval for graduation by each of the college faculties, I now present them to you to award their degrees.
I again ask Trustee DeKruiger to join me at the podium.
Observing the respected custom of institutions of higher learning and exercising the authority of the trustees of Purdue University, legally vested by the people of the state of Indiana, and acting upon the recommendation of the faculty of this institution, I now confer upon you who have fulfilled the requirements the appropriate baccalaureate degree with all the rights and privileges appertaining thereto. I also solemnly place on you those obligations which you must henceforth assume as holders of this degree. As evidence of your ability to fulfill the requirements and obligations of this degree, you will now receive your diploma.
Will each college marshal now escort the baccalaureate degree graduates forward to receive their diplomas? As the candidates make their way toward the stage, please note that they will be crossing in a random order. Graduates, please be seated until you're called.
The graduates of the College of Nursing, escorted by Candidate Marshal Miss Teresa Johnson. Danielle Biancardi. Katrina McTeamies. Haley Bronk. Taylor Wilson. Caitlin Dombrowski. Yamalexi Vasquez. Chelsea Reese. Leslie Konyak. Amber Peterson. Haley Stevers. Abigail Brown. Christina Foy. Kathleen Atten. Skyla Nikolai. Alexis Starkey. Jennifer Pavlinak. Anna Jones. Jennifer Venice. Stephanie Burge. Jasmine Roman. Sarah Martinez. Samantha Hare. Jessica Shope. Jacob Atchison. Taylor Graham. Lauren Streeter. Taylor Votters. Madeline Biancardi. Jennifer Craig. Danielle Pershall. Lauren Consul. Maricela Stevens. Rebecca Fight. Esther Chisani. Kira McAllister. Kristen Straley. Serene Jones. Elena Lovelace. Cheryl Crozier. Kia King. Megan James. Diane Cometa. Naomi Velasco. Victoria Rico. Bryn Nickel. Megan Saminsky. Holly Santaguida. Brianna Henderson. Sanami Avose. Allison Stater. Samantha Chappell. Candace Kuipers. Jaden Minnix. Allison Myers. Alaska Austin. Brianna Mead. Madison Gehring. Jacob Kaselke. Marjorie Calapio. Elena Garabaju. Pia Dam. Paula Cristancho. Maria Bura. Liliana Shero. Paige Ribicki. Alexander Raffetti. Amy Nelson. Elizabeth Olivari. Paul Doan. Don Merrill. Lilybeth Hawk. Mallory Hanowich. Marcy Evans. Ariel Lara. Matthew Solis. Julia Moroz. Brooke Bunchek. Rachel Cruhay. Ashley Biro. Munkdul Munkbatar. Lee Hirschberger. Jessica Mendoza. Amy Norwich. Brenda Delgado. Carrie Lamb. Christabel Minta Galloway. Tony Matsky. Amir Awad. Ayub Damash. Caitlin Anker. Lucina Tan. Kate Sinkowski. Bonaventure Missiko. Janessa Rojas. CJ Nichols. Kyle Matthews. Gregory Scherzinger. Logan Tyson. Marcelo Urbanowitz. Patricia Polkowska. Shayna Johnson. Aminat Pedro. Julie Olness. The graduates of the College of Humanities, Education, and Social Sciences, escorted by Candidate Marshal Miss Rhonda Nemry. Kayla Vazilko. Amy Nieves. Sabina Noel. Kimberly De Santiago. Mariah Fowler. Brianna Hamilton. Jacob Price. Emma Bennett. Emily Long. Emily Canning. Natalie Nondorf. Savannah Brayman. Michelle Breslin. Catherine Hampton. Sabrina Swart. Holly Coslett. Oh. Gretchen Casper. Deanna Weldon. Abby Babe. Nathan Marcinick. Marissa Gentry. Marcelina Espinosa. Marisa Chaples. Addison Klausner. Hey. Rebecca Hasley. Luke Karras. Skylar Hosfeld. William Odenwald. Sarah Colby. Brian Goodman. Robert Dillon. Eric Alanese. Fabiola Cortez. Brian Oduor. Stephanie Parrish. Jessica Fleming. Sahaya Serrano. Jamie Spiegel. Brianna Johnson. Jewel Elam. Jamie Trunick. Brittany Privet. Maria Puente. Natalie Condi. Amanda Swims. Tyler Miller. Christine Morikis. Jessica McLean. Amy Kataska. Genesis Price. Ray Hansen. Anthony Agnew. Daniel Waller. Shekinah Walton. LaRon Jones. Paula Torres Mancia. Maya Merwin. Joaquin J. Muro. Gabriella Keynes. Claire Hagan. Caitlin Rogers. Nicole Reichert. Danica Charnetsky. Brittany Michelle Mendoza. Viviana Plaza. Gerald Akujobi. Darius Jordan Kendall. Elisa Sauceda. Rachel Smock. Brittany Beach. Mackenzie Keene. Valerie Kozlowski. Kalina Zimlo. Alexi Selby. Benjamin Grimler. Corin Balsley. Allison Chavez. Lauren Skvorak. Justin Martin. Ian Norris. Dino Topchegic. Lita Peters. Caitlin Kalisic. Danielle Kamik. Kelly Reed. Nancy Vega. Sunny Santana. Christian Castillo. Ismael Juarez. Stephanie Cordova. Bradley Knight. Valerie Polinovich. Hector Cabrera. Taylor Tracy. Patrina Monroe. Haley Bankson. Skylar Petho. Ruben Gonzalez. Jennifer Whitmer. Madeline Frump. Esme Chavez. Wesley Smith. Jenna Gloy. Alicia Napoles. Lucas Paspahala. Shailena Cruz. Krista Bishop. Lucinda Appleman. Carrie Thibodeau. Longene Coleman. Jasmine Flowers. Peter Merlot. Leonard Powell. Anna Cochran. William Maddie. Elizabeth Schroeder. Madison Westland. Yolanda Chavez. Emma Ritchie. Rachel Pennington. Jacob Neatfelt. Jeremy Ogrizovich. Brent Barton. Sarah Skasny. Anthony Drake. Emily Garwood. Ashanti Johnson. Dylan Quinones. Jeremy Nicholson. Jillian Miller. Shayna O'Connor. Tina Morse. Taylor Small. Blair Hochstetler. Samuel Wagner. Tristan Murphy. Kathleen Garza. Summer Baker. Paige Dombrowski. Rebecca Magana. Julie Hanna. Megan Quartz. Elise Scherg. Shonali Pierce. Nicole Leonard. Ashley Turnbow. Caitlin Meyer. Sarah Melton. Stephanie Hernandez. Nicole Kelly. Samantha Buscemi. Cameron Fleets. Aaron Shine. Jacob Oviedo. Raquel McCafferty. Olivia Rivera. Katie Salapatas. Sarah Cavazos. Josephine Etchegari. Perla Ariano. Sarah Schoon. Christina Poblansky. Taylor Wheeler. Kira Lyle. Tier Storm. Portia Harrell. Monica Duarte. Marta Gallegos Contreras. Cassandra Klaus.
To signify completion of your degree requirements and receipt of your diploma, I now invite all graduates to move the tassel on their mortarboards to the left side. Congratulations! You are now Purdue Northwest graduates! To officially welcome you to the Purdue Northwest alumni contingent comprised of thousands, I invite Ms. Ashley Giordamos, Executive Director of Purdue Northwest Alumni Community, to the podium.
Congratulations to the newest Purdue University Northwest alumni. I am honored to be the first to welcome you into the PNW alumni community. As graduates, you join a community of over 67,000 strong, made up of CEOs and entrepreneurs, of lawyers and advocates, of leading scholars and researchers, Emmy Award winners, mayors, state representatives, journalists, nurses, physicians, authors, judges, and so much more. Each a story that has added to our rich history and paved the way for future Purdue Northwest students. It doesn't seem like very long ago that I was sitting where you are today. I am a very proud 2008 Purdue Northwest graduate from the School of Hospitality and Tourism Management. I reflect fondly on my time as an undergrad. It wasn't always easy, but this is a place where I met some of my closest friends, made lifelong connections, and the place where I met my husband. When I entered the workforce, it became evident to me and my supervisors that the education I received at Purdue Northwest prepared me to succeed in my field of study and beyond. Outside of my own family, the biggest supporters I have had throughout my career have been my professors and other PNW community members. Before I returned to serve PNW, we're good. Sorry. Before I returned to serve PNW, it was deeply important to me to stay connected. These people continued to be my mentors and advocates, creating new connections for me. Purdue Northwest is more than books, bricks, and mortar. Its real value is in its community of people. So my advice for you is to stay connected. Shoot a quick email to your favorite professor to check in or let them know of a new project you're working on. Encourage your company to recruit from PNW. Find me on LinkedIn. Keep up with what is happening here on campus and in our alumni community. Your network is strong. Stay engaged in it. You each have your own stories and connections that you have created in your time here. Now, class of 2021, go out there and continue writing your story and paving the way for future Purdue Northwest students. I am so proud to call you fellow alumni. Congratulations.
Thank you, Ashley. Ladies and gentlemen, Oriana White, Student Government President, will now respond to the graduates on behalf of all Purdue Northwest students.
It is only after you've stepped outside your comfort zone that you begin to grow, change, and transform, said American author Roy T. Bennett. To breeze over this past year's events would be callous on my part. While most of you may feel you've lost experiences or opportunities as PNW students, instead let's focus on what you've accomplished in these difficult times and all the greatness that lies ahead of all of you. You are the graduating class of 2021. You studied hard for your exams, you worked long hours on final projects, you raced the clock to beat the deadlines, and you worked hard for years to get to this point in your lives. While the picture you might have in your head is a little different than what it is right now, it's not any less special or any less important. While change in any form is scary and intimidating, the way the world has been over the last year is probably more difficult for you to cope with because so much has already changed. Do you start your career? Should you continue on with another degree? What is your next step? And now you have to answer these questions in a pandemic. However, you are PNW graduates. You are ready to make these decisions, to embrace the changing world around you, and to leave a blazing legacy in the wake of COVID-19. You have been taught by your mentors to prepare for the worst, but hope for the best. You have learned to adapt and change. You've learned to power onward. It is your time now to show what you are made of, to show your future selves what you as Purdue University Northwest alumni are capable of. Barack Obama has said, change will not come if we wait for some other person or wait for some other time. We are the ones we're waiting for. We are the change that we seek. And you are in charge now of how you choose to handle this crisis before you. How will you work around these new restrictions to find a better world, a better way of living? As a class of 2021, you can push past the fear and the uncertainty. Nothing can stop you from reaching your goals and achieving the dreams except the fear of trying. While we may need to reimagine the goals, you now have an extensive network you've built during your time at Purdue University Northwest and your newly earned degrees. So any goal you've set for yourself is yours to achieve, and no one and nothing, not even a pandemic, can stop you. I am honored to congratulate the class of 2021 of Purdue University Northwest. Congratulations to each and every one of you to making it to this point.
Thank you, Ariana. We're now coming to the conclusion, and there are a few things that I would like to share with you. And some you've heard already today and multiple times today, but I feel like it's important to share again. First of all, we hope that all of you will have the greatest success. In my position, I have the pleasure of meeting a lot of our graduates who have gone on to be extraordinarily successful. They've been physicians, they've been scholars, they've been CEOs, they've been business owners. There are many, many of our graduates that have been successful. This university of ours is one contrived of many, many individuals that know how to work hard and know how to work with others. Those two things will speed your success. I ask this of you because one of the ways we're rated as a university is by the success of our students. And I know you all have the ability to be successful. As you move through your careers, if you have an opportunity to bring in an intern, please bring in an intern from Purdue University Northwest. Most importantly, hire graduates from Purdue University Northwest. I had the pleasure yesterday of having lunch with a senior executive in Blue Cross and Blue Shield in downtown Chicago. She hires 2 or 3 interns every year and hires almost all of them. That's important to you, it's important to us, and it's important to Purdue University Northwest. Finally, as Ashley said, stay connected. But when you stay connected, I ask you not only to stay connected to Purdue Northwest, stay connected to your community. Some of you will stay in Northwest Indiana, some of you will leave. Whether you stay at home for your life, for your career, or whether you go across the nation or across the globe, know that it's important to give back to your community. I assure you that every amount of time that you spend giving back will be time that you cherish. Congratulations once again to the graduates of Purdue University Northwest spring class of 2021, as well as your families. I ask you to remain seated for the processional of the platform party, the faculty, and the graduates. Ladies and gentlemen, the 8th commencement exercise of Purdue University Northwest has concluded.
Thank you.